Welcome back, everybody. Today I have Miss Haley Winkleman. She is single-handedly responsible for taking down the chief of police in Marque, Texas recently. I have been meaning to interview her. We've been talking about doing this for weeks, if not months, probably. But, you know, people's lives, it's just sometimes it's hard to get together. But like Haley, nobody knows more about what's going on in Marque than Haley. Like she can tell you like all the time. Anytime I'm working on stories, if I have a question, I always call her and ask her, and she's like, just got the answers, man. I mean, she knows what's going on inside and out of that city. She's done an amazing job, and we're gonna talk about all of that. Let me show y'all her public comment the other night, right after the chief of police resigned because of her. So let's just dive right into it. Let's watch it.
Ms. Winkleman.
Good evening.
Name and address to the record.
My name is Haley Winkleman. Won't be giving my address. Today, I am proud to announce that I finished my research project a few months ago. I stood here and said the answer to the question of why things like this happen and how we got here. It's always sex, money, or power. It's clear it was definitely power. And I think by the end of this, you'll agree.
I thought it was really interesting how you called it a research project.
Well, it has been. I don't know what else to call it. It's been like 6 months of pulling information and finding things out to get to where we are.
Taking down the police chief was a research project. I feel sorry for anybody if Haley Winkleman starts a research project on you.
I certainly uncovered collusion and a potential conspiracy, maybe even that awful corruption word. I'll let you all decide. On October 15th, I received a call from an unknown number. I was at the dentist. It was former Chief Aragon, whom I will refer to as Randall. He had called to threaten me with a lawsuit for sharing his T-Cole report and the information in it. Less than 20 minutes after I received this call, Joseph Lowry posted to social media that I was being sued by Randall Aragon before the city manager had checked her email, before she had checked her voicemail, before anyone knew. So guess what? An hour and a half after I turned in that T-Cole report and that information about that collusion, we had a different police chief. Isn't it great? Woo-hoo. How good things can happen.
You can't hear the audience. The only thing you can hear in these meetings when you're watching it on YouTube is if whoever's talking directly into the microphone. But there was about 10 or 15 people that were all like, woohoo, yay! You could tell it kind of interrupted your speech. But yeah, it was great. I know I was cheering. I was like, hell yeah. And anyways.
So that's the collusion right there. On Sunday, last Sunday, I discovered that one of Lowry's felony convictions hadn't been actually vacated by the court until May of 2025, which means when he applied for the council and was elected, he was still a convicted felon. So, you know, it would be a conspiracy to cover up criminal conduct to get someone elected. It sure would be a shame if this is what some people have chosen for their legacy. At this point, I'll let the investigative powers do what they do. I'd like to extend a huge congratulations to Chief Rodriguez. I've heard many positive things and am looking forward to meeting you at the meet and greet on Wednesday. I take it as a good sign that I don't know who you are. All right. And lastly, I'd ask to delay approving minutes for the meeting.
Okay, we won't get into the rest of that part. Do you have anything that you want to add to that, Haley?
Yeah. So the biggest thing, and I lost my space in my speech and I didn't get to say it, but the biggest thing
it's because we were all clapping and interrupting.
Yeah. But the biggest thing is there's multiple investigations, active investigations by the Marque Police Department where I'm listed as a victim and Joseph Lowry is listed as a suspect. For the chief of police to be talking to a suspect about a victim and multiple active investigations is just despicable conduct for
against the law.
the chief of a police. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm really glad he's gone. Like, unbelievably glad. It's been, it was crazy. I'll be honest. I wasn't expecting a call when at the dentist, in the waiting room at the dentist, to get a call from the chief of police in the community that I live in, so like, I have to come back here. And even, I left the dentist and I didn't know what was going on. And like, I still had to come back to my home in Lamarque, where he was still the active police chief.
Yeah.
And
Good.
so it was really unexpected, but I'm really glad that I was able to continue to share his TCOL report and continue to share with people and organizations what he had done. The reason that he called and threatened me is because I had been sharing his TCOL report with any organization who was inviting him to be a member of anything.
Oh.
So if they wanted him to speak, I wanted them to know who they were having speaking at their function.
Okay, what was in this TCOL report? Tell everybody.
Oh, yeah. So the TCOL report shows that he used to be our chief back in Lamarque back in 2014. He left here. He went to another community, Fairbanks, Alaska. He ended up getting he quit during a validated ethics complaint.
He was the chief 2 different times here?
Yes, yeah. So he was the chief.
I did not know that. That's what I was saying earlier. Haley knows everything there is to know about this town. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Right.
So
sorry, I interrupted you.
So he went to Fairbanks. He quit during a validated ethics complaint that they would have terminated him for offering security services better than what the police department could provide. His police department could provide, which is something he also did here in the Lamarque area. But after he left Fairbanks, Fairbanks, Alaska, he went to Truth and Consequences, New Mexico. And in Truth and Consequences, New Mexico, he was reprimanded and eventually fired for sexual harassment of 3 women, not one. Mm-hmm.
3 women.
3 women. That is what the report states, that comments and innuendos were made to 3 separate women.
Yeah. And to everybody listening, I will put a link to that TCOL report in the description. I could pull it up right now, but I mean, you can tell us what was in it. So you think I should pull it up, or you just want to keep going?
No, we can just keep going. No worries. So
I can add it in. Yeah. All right.
And the TCOL report also detailed a pattern of retaliation against people who reported him. And so the officer, because he lied on his application to be the chief of police for the city of Lamarque, or he would not have been hired. Had everything been known that is known now, he would not have been our chief. So the officer that reported him to TCOL for lying on the application or misrepresenting or whatever word we want to use today, he retaliated against him. That officer was immediately placed on leave for mental health concerns, which of course gives an officer a very bad reputation in the law enforcement community. And they eventually terminated this officer. He did sue the city and was awarded a settlement for that as well. But throughout the report, it was just, the more you read on it, it's the worse it gets, because he's retaliating against people. And when TCOL's calling him on the carpet, like what happened in Fairbanks, what happened in Truth and Consequences, are you being honest on your information that you submitted to get your peace officer's license back? here in Texas. He always made excuses, and it was always politics, political reasons, right? Oh, people didn't want him there for politics. It's not politics when you are not a good leader, when you are doing things unethical and immoral and, making women uncomfortable in the workplace and things of that nature. And it's a repeated thing. You're not, that's not who needs to be in a position of leadership. He also is there is a current Call investigation that I filed because he lied to Call about when he was hired as the chief of police here in Lamarque because he didn't have a peace officer's license. So he even lied to Call and said he wasn't hired here in Lamarque until February of 2022, when he was actually hired in September of 2021 and carried a gun and badge as the chief of police in our community for 167 days without an active peace officer's license.
No Call license.
No Call license.
For people that are watching that don't know what Call is, Call in Texas is the one that gives police officers their license to practice law.
Yes.
Wow. So he was practicing law for how many days without a license?
He was out there 167 days without a Call license.
And nobody would have ever known that unless Haley did her research just busted this guy. Just absolutely busted this guy.
I would say if I would have never focused on Lowry and recalling Lowry.
That was my next question. Go ahead.
If I would have never focused on that, I would have never delved into the police, essentially, I'm alleging that it is a conspiracy to cover up criminal conduct of one individual.
What got you? Okay, so you started digging into the chief because you started digging into the Lowry, and you noticed that the chief was covering for Lowry and protecting Lowry. What got you started digging in on Lowry? What started that between you and him?
So it was a thing he posted to Facebook. He said it was a red king costume or blue king costume off Amazon. What color should he wear for his first day as king of the city council? He didn't want to cause any problems or violence to break out.
So he was already the red, blue, like gang. He was already like trying to create divide and it's racial divide.
Yeah. Like it's not, I know many people associate red and blue with Republicans and Democrats, but we live in our community is almost 50% African American. So it's not the things he's saying. It's not Republican versus Democrat. It's that he was referring to the Crips and the Bloods. So and those types of problems.
So that post, you saw that post and you thought that was like trying to cause racial divide. Is that what it is?
Well, yeah. I peripherally knew who he was for some time. I've always thought.
Did he put a billboard up in town too?
I don't remember the billboard, but I know that he attacked my friend Sean Skipworth, who was the mayor in Dickinson, Texas. And that's when I first started kind of, even paying any attention to who this individual is. But it was that, and it was that collared costume that he posted. And then CJ Beard spoke up and said that the police department wouldn't take a report. They told him the statute of limitations expired in 2 hours for harassment. And I'm hopeful to go to law school very soon for civil rights. And that's a very clear, to me, civil rights violation. The statute of limitations on anything does not expire in 2 hours in the state of Texas. that's just making things up and refusing inaction, which is negligence, and there's many things combined into that. And so I decided that I would go ahead and recall Lowry and figure out how we got here. How did this happen? How do we have citizens speaking out against an individual? How do we have an individual conducting themselves in this manner that to everyone else in the world except the Marque Police Department thinks is criminal conduct? But we have, we can't get anything done here. How is this, like, how did we get here? And how can we make sure this never happens again?
Exactly. So you started digging into Lowry to recall him.
Mm-hmm.
What did you find out, if anything?
Oh, there's so many things on Lowry. You've covered quite a bit of it between the PFA that's going on right now with Natalie up in Washington State.
Still
he's been
an active investigation.
Still an active investigation going on there with the kidnapping and all that. There's many, many things that I've, found out, but all of it really up until last Sunday, all I'd found out really was that it was clear to me that someone was covering up, because if I behaved like this or you behaved like this or, CJ or Richard behaved like this, we'd be in jail.
Yeah.
So why can someone do it and no one else can do it? Why are we here? Now, up until last Sunday, I thought all of his felonies had been vacated. I truly did. And that, it was basically, he did qualify to be on the ballot, whether I thought he should or not. Whether my opinion on whether you should be able to be convicted for manufacturing methamphetamine and have that ever taken off your record is, irrelevant to the law. And so but I knew, because I knew something was going on with the cover up, that made me dig into Aragon. And then last Sunday, a couple weeks ago, someone sent me a specific Truth Finder report that they had pulled. On that report, it brought to my attention a felony in a different county, in King County versus Pierce County in Washington. Okay. I wasn't aware of the felony in King County. I had never seen that, or that had never brought to my attention, or what have you, because people send me a lot of things, like a lot of court documents and stuff related to Lowry. But, it's got to jump out at me. It's got to be something I haven't seen before, or it's, in the binders I have printed out of his stuff. So I found out about this King County. I immediately went to Washington State Records and pulled up the charges and everything in King County. Found out the judgment was vacated in
what were the charges in King County?
I'm sorry?
Meth? What were the charges?
Yeah, it's manufacturing. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yep. And and with that, they had vacated the judgment, but they never did the paperwork on the back end to vacate the conviction and everything. And so I found out that paperwork wasn't done until May of this year.
After he was elected city councilman, correct?
Correct. Yeah, he'd been serving for a year as council member in May when this was actually vacated.
Yeah. Let me catch everybody up to speed, okay? Most of the people that have been watching my channel know that City Councilman Joseph Lowry is a multiple-time convicted felon. He's got possession of methamphetamines, manufacturing of methamphetamines, just all kinds of, just a long track of bad felonies. But there was I'm going to have to turn my ringer off. the Supreme Court in Washington, it was called Blake versus United States, I think it was. Is that right, Haley?
Blake versus Washington State.
Blake versus Washington State. But in this ruling, the city of Washington, being very forgiving, decided to dismiss or vacate, whatever words you want to use, everybody's felony charges that had anything to do with drugs. And Councilman Lowry was in that group of people and got his charges all vacated, which is like a blessing. I mean, he basically got a fresh start in life. He could
Absolutely.
he could have took that and came to Texas and done wonderful things.
I would have ran with that and totally been a different person and just made a great life for myself and my family. That's what I would have done.
He started all his old crap with stalking and harassing and trying to intimidate and bully people. And people like you started digging into his past, and all this stuff has come out now. But yeah, just to let everybody know how he was able to get on the city council.
Yes.
He got his record vacated. And so I guess because he got those convictions or those felonies vacated, when he filled out his application, he checked the box that he had never been convicted of a felony.
Yes,
and and that was actually a lie. Even though he got those cases vacated, he had still been convicted, and one of them hadn't even been vacated yet.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
He had still been convicted. The conviction had not been vacated. He absolutely lied on that application. And, but here's my thing, and I'm just going to come out and say it right now. So the Lamar Police Department, Randall Aragon, waived their requirements, and they did a background check on him to allow him into the Citizens Police Academy.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
So they knew.
Waived the background check?
They did the background check and then waived the issues. They did the check and then waived the issues. Yep. Mm-hmm. To let him into the Citizens Police Academy.
That's been a real big deal in Lamarck, and I haven't really covered that too much on my channel, but a lot of people are furious about that. This guy is an alumni of the Lamarck. How's it pronounced, Haley?
The Citizens Police Academy. We don't have one anymore, by the way, because of it. Like that, he is solely. They'll say they might give you another speech about budget or this or that. No, like they've tried to have a class since and nobody applied because it's tarnished. It's ruined. And the people who, like, he's a criminal. People don't want to associate with him. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
So like they tried to have a Citizens Police Academy this past year, but they didn't receive enough applicants to even hold it.
So it's basically been disbanded because he tarnished it so bad. Now nobody wants to participate in it.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct.
Unbelievable. I didn't even know that. Unbelievable. All right, I have a question here. We're going to have to rewind a little bit because this question is very important. How did Chief Aragon, you said you were in the dentist and you got a call from a private number. How did he get your personal phone number?
So I don't know. I've never given it to him. I did bring that up as well in the emails, in the email that day, the email thread between the city manager and I that day, that was brought up as well. How did he get my personal number? I've never given it to him. And then very shortly thereafter that, Lowry posted that. And then it's like, and how does Lowry know about this when I haven't told anyone? Like, how would anyone else know? And he actually didn't call me from a private number. He should have. It would have been better for him to at least have plausible deniability on it. Yeah. He didn't. He called me from his personal cell phone number. And so when I emailed the city and said he called to threaten me to sue me for my, statements, and honestly, it's protected information anyways because of the Texas Citizens PA. But when I did all that, they that's when it all came up. Like he's
Yeah.
using the resources wrong. He shouldn't even have my number. But no, he called me from his personal number, and I was able to screenshot that and send that in.
I'm going to guess that Lowry figured out your number, because that's all a part of Lowry's intimidation and stalking and harassing people. He figures out what your phone numbers are. He figured out what my phone number was, and I know exactly who he got it for. But he will pay people. Like he probably gave somebody $100 for your phone number if he didn't get it for free. And so that's how Aragon ended up with your phone number. He ended up with my phone number, and I know exactly who gave it to him. I'm not stupid, and he's been using that to harass me repeatedly. But we're not going to get into that. This interview is about you and what you've done. But there's numerous videos about him harassing me over my phone number.
Yes.
But here's so after all of the stuff that you've uncovered, because we're coming up on 30 minutes, I want to keep this pretty tight, because if it's too long, people won't watch it.
Sounds good.
But under the things that you've uncovered about these two, okay, you just caused the chief of police to resign a week or so ago. But what is evolved? If you can talk about it, if you can't talk about things, then don't talk about it. But what is evolving, and what are you hoping is? What's going on as far as investigating these two? Who's investigating them? And what are we hoping is going to happen soon or in the near future? Plus, we got a new police chief. So if you want to just talk about those things combined. Yeah.
So we do. We have a new police chief. He was not
Haley.
And Chief Rodriguez, we're so glad you're here. He was not in a position of leadership. Many people are upset because they passed over multiple people who were in the chain of command to be the next chief. That I can't share a lot. Because I haven't, been told that I can advertise this, but the organization that investigates police departments in the state of Texas is here, and they are working and looking into everything that's happened, and that's why.
Is that Tico?
That is not Tico. That is the Texas Rangers.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not. It's a big deal. There is investigations going on. There are people here. Unfortunately, our ranger who got assigned here had recently applied for reassignment so he could be closer to home, which I totally understand. But they granted that reassignment to be closer to his family last week or the week before. And so now we are having to wait until November 1st to get a new ranger appointed to this area that would be taking over the investigation. But there is a reason why Chief Rodriguez, and they changed up that, the typical chain of command on that. Things are going to be happening. These things never happen fast. It's never a quick process, but they are here. They are investigating. They have heard everyone's pleas for help, and we're finally getting somewhere.
Good. So the fact that, Aragon called you, said he was going to sue you. Within 20 minutes, Councilman Joseph Lowry posted on his Facebook page that the chief was suing you. So, yes. I mean, it's obvious that they're colluding together.
Correct.
Isn't that against the law? And talk about that. Tell us what laws were violated there by doing that.
So there's absolutely some issues there with you're going to look at it's a criminal conspiracy. It's engaging in organized criminal activity to cover up the conduct of one individual, and
deprivation of rights too.
Absolutely. There's all kinds of civil rights issues at play, and regarding that aspect of the civil rights, more will be coming out about that here very shortly. About, there's not, citizens aren't just taking it on the chin anymore. We're standing up, we're working together, and we're making things happen. And
Yeah.
so more is going to come out about that too very soon, because at this point, like, everyone's done what they could, and we've all still had all the problems we've had. I can't tell you how many times I've been told that I got CPS called on me, or that my home was going to be raided, or, you know, all those crazy things, all the stuff he's done to you.
We've all had these same
All
threats.
the stuff he's done to everyone, and it's just, it's too much. It's too time. And at the end of the day, it's abuse of power.
Yeah.
It's abuse of power 100%.
And for the first time in over 20 years, I'm going to be reporting a crime on him.
Right.
Which I announced at the city council meeting. I do plan on doing that because I owe it to all the people who have been working hard to get these people out of office. I owe it to y'all. So
Thank you.
I'm going to put aside my selfish reasons of why I don't report crimes or go to the police. I'm going to put aside those issues for the greater good, and I'm going to make a documentary out of it to see how they handle it. So
I love that.
That's where
Let
I'm
me
at.
know if you need somebody, if you want somebody to go with you, because I will be right there with you.
Yeah, I'll call you as soon as we end this. Okay. We're at 31 minutes. Do you have anything that you want to add to the end of this before we go?
No, I think that's it, Harvey. Thanks for having me on today.
All right. Thank you, Haley.
The only good cop is a dead cop. The only good cop is a dead cop.